Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel, Organized with Joy. I'm Joy and I want to inspire you to get organized. And it's the end of the month, so if you follow my channel, you know what that means for me. It is time to purge, and I am sharing another declutter with me. I'm going to show you everything that I stuck in my donation box throughout the month of August, and I'm super excited for this month's declutter with me because a couple of my really good YouTube friends, Angie and Tonya, are following along with me, and they have also collected things this month to share with you, a declutter with me. So I will link Angie from Angie Perry Home and Tonya from the House of Parkers videos down below in the description box. So if you need more decluttering motivation, you can head over to their channels after you watch my video. But let's get into what I got rid of this month, because this is a long one. I don't know what happened this month. I was in all-out purge mode, so my box was quite full. So I'm going to start with some random items. Truthfully, I feel like everything is just random, but these are just random items I've collected throughout my home. Some of the other things came from a specific room that I can group together. But first up, these huge Ziploc storage bags. I have had these for so long. I think that I used to use them for our ski clothes when we went on ski vacation, but I stopped using these and just started using really big like Rubbermaid type tubs to store all of our jackets and gloves and ski pants and stuff like that, and it worked a lot better than these bags. So since these have just been sitting in my plastic bag box for several years unused, it's time to get rid of those. Next up, I recently got a steam mop, and I had this e-cloth just handheld mop that I used before I used my steam mop, and I was going to get rid of that. But then when my son and I were going through all of his stuff for his apartment, I remembered he just had this Swiffer mop, and it uses like throwaway heads, and he said he didn't really love it. He felt like almost immediately the mop head got kind of gross, and it just, he would have to like keep switching the mop head over, and I feel like it's super wasteful. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this because I gave him my e-cloth mop, which has a reusable head, and you just use water and you can rinse it out once the mop head gets dirty. And just to let you know, I think I mention this every time, but I love the Buy Nothing group on Facebook. It is a local group for my neighborhood where I can just put these items on the Buy Nothing group and see if anyone is interested in taking them. I like to post things there first before I take things to a donation center, just because I know they're more likely to get used if they're being taken by someone who said, yes, I want that. So next up is a few things from my son. He is an avid rock climber. He mostly does indoor rock climbing at a rock climbing gym, but he also does some outdoor rock climbing, but his shoes were in really bad shape. There's actually holes in the toes, so we're gonna need to go ahead and throw these away, but he did get some new rock climbing shoes. And then we also went through his clothes to make sure everything fit and that he liked everything he had, and to buy whatever he needed. These were 3 pairs of shorts that he no longer wanted. These wouldn't fit my younger son, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of those. He did also have a collection of t-shirts he was getting rid of, but those we are passing on to my younger son. And then he also had a pair of jeans to get rid of, and this is a funny side story. I held them up and I was like, these look so much like this pair of boyfriend jeans that I have and absolutely love. So I decided to try them on, and they actually fit me perfectly. So I kept those. So for now, it's just these 3 pair of shorts that are going from his wardrobe. Next up, another random item. I just have 3 pairs of athletic socks that I don't grab these. I have other white socks that I tend to grab, and I've noticed these have just been sitting at the back of my sock drawer. So I decided to go ahead and get rid of those. And next, I have more dog items that really were more useful for our beagle. I feel like every month I'm getting rid of dog items that I just keep coming across. For those of you who are new here, we did have a beagle and she passed away almost a year ago now. And I've slowly but surely been getting rid of items that worked for her but do not work for our Yorkie. And this grooming glove is one of those things. I have a brush that I use on my Yorkie that I prefer to use over this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. And then we had this item. It makes a high-pitched noise and we kind of used it for training purposes, but my Yorkie doesn't really seem to respond to it. I think my beagle's hearing maybe was better or so, who knows. Either way, we do not use this anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. Okay, next up is a bunch of stuff from my kitchen. I went through my kitchen and did a quick purge, and these are the things I came up with. I have this container that when my son was in high school, I used to use this for his protein powder because I didn't like to have his protein powder container just sitting on our counter. So I used this, and it was just really easy for him to like reach into there. And when he moved home this summer, I asked him like if he wanted me to dump his protein powder in here, and he said he preferred to just keep it in the container that it came in. And I sucked it up and let him just keep his protein powder on our counter. That's how he keeps it in his apartment. So since we have not used this since he was in high school 2 years ago, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. This pains me a little bit to get rid of these. I had really good intentions with these, and I feel like the smaller one is actually really worn out. I think these do have kind of a life, but they are beeswax wraps, but they do not stay on containers that I try to put them on. If anybody has any tricks for these beeswax wraps, let me know. This is the one that I used the most, that I would use with avocados, but it's in really bad shape now. It almost has like a hole in the middle. But I just get so frustrated with trying to wrap something with these that I tend to just end up using plastic wrap. I kind of want to invest in something else that is reusable, that is maybe more efficient or works better. And next up is just a couple of hand towels from our kitchen that have stains on them, and I can't remove the stains. I have plenty of hand towels, so I don't need these two. This also came from my kitchen. I just have a container filled with a bunch of cleaning products. And this I bought back last spring when Grove Collaborative was out of their Method wood cleaner. And I love the Method wood cleaner, but I had to purchase this because I ran out of the other wood cleaner. And then when Grove came back with the Method cleaner, I noticed I never use this now. Never. I just always want to use the Method wood cleaner. This one is not too bad. It's just, it's a little bit greasy in my opinion. So I'm going to see if I can pass this along to someone else who might be interested in it. And then I have just a bunch of plastic cups from a local burger place that we go to. I feel like we're always going to be getting these cups, so I don't really need to continue collecting them. I do also have a straw cleaner, and I have plenty of these, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. And then this I'll probably just throw away. I have another scrub brush that is newer, and I don't tend to use that one. Lastly, from my kitchen, I have just a supplement that I tried for a little while, but it caused stomach aches for me personally. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass this along to someone else who might use that. Next is another kind of random item. I am going to be going ahead and recycling these Consumer Reports magazines. I tend to only keep the last like 2 years, I think, maybe 1 year. No, yeah, 1 year. 1 year of Consumer Reports magazines on hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of all of these that are more than a year old. Next up is some items from my bathroom, and first is this Tarte loose powder. And I always would have like a light version and kind of a darker version. The darker version I would use for summertime, and this summer I did not get tan enough for this color. I guess I'm just kind of out of the stage of sitting by the pool with my kids. When they were younger, I get tan very easily, and I would be so tan by the end of the summer, but this summer I just was hardly outside. Like, I definitely was not sitting by pools this summer. So anyway, this is too dark for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass that along. And then I have a couple of nail polishes that I just don't gravitate towards these colors, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass those along. And then these are kind of frustrating. These are razor head refills, and I do the curbside pickup at my local grocery store, and these were a substitution. I had ordered the razor heads that actually fit the brand of razor head that my daughter and I have, and I should have hit the don't substitute button, but I didn't, and they gave me this generic brand, and unfortunately it just didn't fit with our razor bottoms, the sticks. So I'm gonna have to pass those along. Okay, I told y'all I have a lot of stuff this month. I also went through all of my office stuff. I went through the dresser that's in my office. I actually have a video where I detailed that process. If you want to see that, I can link it, but I will show you in detail now what I got rid of from that process. And first, these Cricut mats. I actually purchased these because I borrowed a Cricut machine from my friend's daughter, and she forgot to give me the mat, but they were out of town the weekend that I borrowed it, so I couldn't go pick up the mat from her house. So I ended up just purchasing these. They actually weren't very expensive. It came as a pack of 2, and I don't remember how much this cost. But I decided I'm gonna go ahead and give these to my friend's daughter. You know, she let me borrow the Cricut machine, and so I thought maybe she would enjoy having extra mats for her Cricut machine. I have thought about buying a Cricut, but if I do purchase one, I will purchase the smaller one, the Cricut Joy. I will not be buying the bigger version, so I'm gonna go ahead and let those go. Next, I was using these as home decor. It's just a group of 5 little jars. They were like raw juice shots that I had gotten, and I just thought the bottles were really cute. This was several years ago, but I spray painted them black and then used them as a display. I've used them for a couple of years. I'm over it, so I'm gonna pass those along. I have a couple of planters pots. Actually, this was a candle, and I cleaned it out and was gonna use it as a planter pot, but never grabbed it. So these 2 are gonna go. I also have this that I got at the Target dollar spot several years ago. This is a fall item, so hopefully this will be a hot one in the Buy Nothing group. Hopefully somebody will want this. It is a huge mug. I actually used it for greenery, but I have 2 of these mugs. I guess I went a little bit crazy. They were $3 each originally, but the other one says Hello Fall, and I just like, it's more simple than this one. This one says Gather Here with Grateful Hearts, which is cute. It's just, I don't want to have both of them. I also have another pot, this little pot. Someone from the Buy Nothing group gave me this whenever I gave her something. And I had it for a little while, but now I'm ready to pass that along. And then I have these two greenery things. As you can see, it's kind of falling apart. I used these outdoors, so they are not in great shape. They even have, I don't know, maybe mold or something on it. I don't know if you can see that, but anyway. Last few things. So this is just a user's guide for my ring light. I can find that information online very easily. I also have this alarm clock, which I still really like. I go through these phases of being obsessed with things, and there was this phase where I was all about alarm clocks, and I just have too many. This one was in my son's room, and when we cleaned up his room, he didn't want it in his room anymore, and because it was like he wasn't using it. He didn't like the ticking sound, so he's like, there's no point in having this. So I don't really have any other place to put that, so that's gonna go. And then this, it might have gone with my other ring light. I could not figure out how this would work with my current ring light. And if it does, I literally never use this piece. So there you have it. So much stuff this time around. Don't know what happened this month, but I was definitely in purge mode. Well, thank you for watching my video today. I hope it gave you some motivation or inspiration to declutter things from your home. Maybe it gave you some ideas of different spaces you could declutter or different items you could declutter. Be sure to check out my friends Angie and Tonya's video after you watch my video for even more decluttering motivation. Well, thank you so much for watching this video today. I will see you in the next one. Bye.